statement number 3, sticking with the NFC West, the Cardinals have to move on from Kliff Kingsbury.
You know what? I'm going to buy this statement. I don't think Kliff Kingsbury is a good coach. The one cause for concern I have is who's out there that's better. But I think the biggest kind of thing you have in the back of your head is you have the most attractive thing in the world, which is a young starting quarterback that has a ton of athleticism and that has a ton of potential. And so you can potentially you just have the ability to attract.
It's not just just a good roster all around as well. You got stars in almost every position.
Yeah, so you have a good roster. You get to live in Arizona. You're a very attractive coaching position. I don't think...
have we seen Kliff Kingsbury's house?
Seriously. I mean,
dude.
Maybe that's part of the contract.
He's in the desert and has a fireplace.
Yeah,
a fire pit.
His fire pit had a fire pit. It was crazy. I mean, it's just I just don't think your ceiling is high with Kliff Kingsbury, and especially with the way that McVay and Kingsbury matched up yesterday. You think of those guys as very similar coaches. You know, the younger, offensive-minded, a little unproven when they got into the role, but have had a little bit of success on the back of good quarterbacking. And I just don't think that Kliff Kingsbury has what it takes to get you over the next hump. And I think the Cardinals are ready to make the jump from a middling, going to lose in the first round every single year playoff team to what do they need to do to become an all-around better team. They need to be more disciplined. They need to be a little deeper. And when DeAndre Hopkins gets out of the game, you don't just completely have an offense dissolve. And so I think that they can do better than Kliff Kingsbury. So I think it is time to move on, because if not now, then if the league figures out Kyler another year and he doesn't look good this year, it's going to be a lot harder to fill that coaching vacancy. So you want to get someone in there that's going to work with Kyler a little bit better than what Kliff has done. Kliff's been awesome for him, but again, I think you've topped out what you can with this team.
And it's been interesting because this is now his 3rd full season with the team. Started back in 2019. His first season with the team, he went 5-10-1. That tie coming with the Detroit Lions. Last year, they went 8-8 and barely missed out of the playoffs because he lost a late season game to the Chicago Bears, who ended up taking that 7th seed. And now they finally make the playoffs with him, but that was after a horrible second half of the season, capped off with the cherry on top with a just abysmal playoff performance. You got to do something there. The thing is, it's trending in the upward direction, so that's what's going to keep him tied there, is because we're seeing a trend, we're seeing positive, but I think as soon as that record dips, as soon as like the whole trend dips, he might be packing his bags and going back to college football. And it's crazy how Sean McVay is the kind of coach that kind of brought Kliff Kingsbury into the league, but he might also be the one that just put the nail in his coffin of his NFL coaching career. I love irony. It's such a good way to tell stories.
It makes everything make sense.
Which is one thing I really ask for the NFL every single week, is just make it make sense. Which is something they're doing a really bad job of, especially when it comes to the officiating.